thing missing in that respect. So anyway, that's what I got this week in pop culture. Keith, what do you got in the world of sports?
Okay, well, look here, guys. Not too big a week in sports. However, the biggest thing going on in sports, obviously, is March Madness, the return of the tournament. This time last year, a lot of broken-hearted kids. Unfortunately, this time there's still a lot of broken-hearted kids because there is an upset of mass proportion in the tournament. Of course, all of us near the brackets were busted the first week of the tournament because Big Ten number 2 ranked Ohio State shocked by Oral Roberts. So I never heard more curse words and brackets being torn up on one day, such as that. Of course, we thought it was a fluke, one of those things that happened, and Oral Roberts is in the Sweet 16. Just shocking, but that's what the tournament's about, right?
Yep.
But it's going on with several teams. You've got Jim Boeheim has Syracuse doing the unbelievable. You have Loyola, Chicago. I meant to mention it last week, my bad, but that was the anniversary of Loyola making it big 3 years ago. And of course, the big story was about their beloved fan, Sister Jean, who was very, very up in age, made the tournament. She's there again with them today at 101 years old. Yeah. Just an awesome story. If you haven't followed that story, very inspiring to these young kids, a very human story. And I love it because these kids aren't too, big for their britches, that they don't appreciate this woman and the stories that she has and the support that she gives. So that's one of my favorite stories in all of college basketball. So big upsets in the tournaments, guys. I don't know if you guys have caught any teams that you're following or been shocked by any.
I watched the Ohio State game.
I know about Loyola. I know about Oral Roberts. I caught those, but I just haven't picked up on it yet this year.
Okay. Well, just good stuff. Keep an eye on that. Now let's go to the NBA. Something we're not used to hearing in the last 17 years. LeBron James out indefinitely. LeBron James, one of his huge attributes, because in any sports, I always say your best ability is your availability. This guy has always been there. He takes care of his body, spends a tremendous amount of money on his body. He's built like a Mack truck, and he never gets hurt, but he is out with a high ankle sprain indefinitely. Of course, Anthony Davis has been out as well. This changes everything for one of the front runner Lakers in the West now. And so probably for the second time in 12 years, we might see a finals or at least playoffs without LeBron James. Amazing thing to think about. If you got a kid that's 15, 16, 18 years old, from the time they probably started even being able to pay attention to basketball, have known nothing but LeBron James in the finals. That's kind of amazing to think about it, guys.
Yeah, quite the career he's had so far. Of course, we're from Northeast Ohio. He's from Akron, where we're all from here. So he's certainly very prevalent around here, and he still does good things for the local community here. So we certainly, a lot of people, love LeBron James around here. So, yeah, it's a shame, and I hate to have any player, regardless of star power. I think we all agree with that, to get hurt and not be able to participate. But yeah, you're right. It's a whole generation of fans he's
or
always
at least
been there.
Defend your title. If you're current, what you be able to at least defend it. If you lose, you lose, but have the chance.
Absolutely, and you're right. It's too bad. It's too bad. So you probably open the door for maybe the Clippers or somebody, and then now you got the super team and the Nets in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how it shakes out. Now, if LeBron can play safely, he'll try to come back, I'm sure, and he'll do what he can. But I don't think he's one that's going to be kind of stupid about it either, because he knows that longevity and everything else is more important and all that. So. I don't know. What do you think, Skinner?
Go ahead, Utah, before Skinner goes, I'm more concerned about Utah and the Clippers than I am the Nets, because the Brooklyn Nets team is tremendous, but those guys can't stay healthy.
True.
So, go ahead, Skinner.
Yeah, it is surprising to hear LeBron James getting hurt because, while he's near and dear to everyone here in Northeast Ohio, you just don't hear about him getting hurt.
No.
When he went down in a couple of different times during the playoffs, everybody was riding him, saying he was a quitter, and if it was on a team that wasn't going to make it, it was all bull crap. If the guy's ailing, he's ailing. But to hear him out indefinitely at this stage of his career is pretty shocking, to be truthful. We thought he was indestructible, like you said. He spends all kinds of time and money on his body, on his nutrition. Like you said, he's built like a freaking Mack truck. You ever been in front of him? He's just a specimen.
Yeah, it's unlike
anything.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'll say one thing about LeBron too. I've always respected and it's Michael Jordan did this, and I'm sure he was influenced by him and all those big guys in the 80s, Magic, Bird, all those guys. If I paid a ticket to go see the Chicago Bulls, I was going to see Michael Jordan play. Yeah. That's it. If I paid a ticket to go see the Lakers, I was going to see Magic Johnson. If I wanted to see the Celtics, I was going to see Larry Bird play. Those guys were going to play. LeBron James, I don't care what team he plays for, the Cavs, as we know, the Heat, the Lakers. If you buy a ticket to go see LeBron James, you are almost certain you're going to see LeBron James. Some players, as we know, some players don't treat it that way. It's like they want to take their rotations and their rest, and that's not great for the fans.
Back. I'm tired. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. So LeBron James plays every game and many, many, many minutes. So it's a shame. So hopefully he gets well and he can come back at a high level. Go ahead.
Yeah, one of the thrills of my life was when I was at the University of Akron and worked for WZIP Sports. Getting to not only interview and take pictures with LeBron, but the rest of the team as well. If you're on my Facebook page, go to the WZIP photo album. You can see those pictures there. But just to stand next to him was just awe-inspiring. Just like, oh my gosh. We wish him the best. He's had a tremendous career. Maybe this is the first sign of wear and tear. Maybe it's just a fluke. We don't know, but hopefully he'll be back soon. All right. Now, guys, talk about your millennial, or not millennial, but Gen X story here. We're going to go into the world of boxing. One of the phenomena that we saw growing up, the likes of which we've never seen before and haven't seen since, was the emergence of Mike Tyson.
Mr. Tyson.
Guys, did you think in 2021, we will still be talking about Mike Tyson fighting?
No, not at all.
The story came out that he was just he denied $25 million to fight one of his, I don't want to say arch nemesis, but the fight between him and Evander Holyfield was legendary. They said they offered him $25 million to fight on Memorial Day. Of course, the big story was the second fight where he bit off a piece of Evander's ear and spit it out. I never saw anything like that in my life. Lots of jokes and things to this day. Guys, if Evander Holyfield, Mike Tyson were to get it on again, would you pay to watch it?
I'll say just about 5 minutes to go. I'm not sure I'm going to pay a pay-per-view to go see that, truthfully. Mike Tyson, back in the day when the pay-per-view first came out, he made his money then. And I was one of those to help pay on a Saturday night. We would get a group of people over to watch Mike Tyson. Didn't care about the rest of the card. We wanted to see that 15, 20, 45 seconds of Mike Tyson, and we were done. So do I want to see 50-plus-year-old men, almost 60? No. I really don't, to be truthful. Okay. It's a great story. Takes us back to thinking about how Mike and even Evander, he was a great fighter back in the day too. We don't see guys like those. You can talk all you want about Mayweather and all those other ones that have been, that are now considered has-beens. He's a clown, but you didn't see Tyson. You didn't see Sugar Ray Leonard. You didn't see Evander Holyfield. You didn't see any of those. You don't
guys
see
like Mayweather and what's that idiot, the Irish guy, the UFC.
Anyway,
yeah. All right.
What do you got?
McGregor.
Conor McGregor.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, the original fight was one of the craziest things you probably ever will see in the world of boxing, and it was a shame because Holyfield didn't really get the opportunity to finish the fight on his own terms. I
Right.
think he would have won that fight fair and
Absolutely.
square. I think Tyson probably felt like he was going to lose that fight, and so he did something crazy to get out of there. It's what it smelled like at the time. And I'm with you. I mean, I mean, Tyson looks like he's a physical specimen. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm impressed by the training and all that stuff. It is motivating in that respect. But yeah, I'm an interested. We talked about the death last week of marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Mm-hmm.
You never saw a guy like that come back and do any of that stuff. He
Right.
retired at the top of his game, and he's not
That
coming
was
back
it.
to make a buck. It feels like they're trying to wring our generation of some cash. Let's try to get some people to watch these fights years ago. Let's get some money from them and pay-per-view. So yeah, not interested.
And even though, like you said, he looks tremendous, I mean, I would mess with him. There, you know, the old joke when they say, "What would you do if Mike Tyson slapped your girl?" You know, I look at her and go, "What'd you do?"
Right.
Messing with that man. Okay, real quick, guys. Getting out of boxing, let's just go to music real quick. In the world of music, this day in music, the Bay City Rollers had a #1 hit in the UK. Bye Bye Baby. Bay City Rollers were a cultural phenomenon, especially among white kids during that time. We didn't know too much about them, but we heard about them. They were pretty big. Of course, they had the one big hit that everybody remembers, but they were emerging around 1975 and never did much after that. But
70s bubblegum music. Yep.
Yeah. What you say, Skinner? Comments?
I just he said 70s bubblegum music, but I just chuckled.
Okay. Also in 1992, we grew up in the MTV era. Some of the bands were just video. Some bands had the formula. They were just putting out videos that, whether you like the music or not, they were just good videos. They were just good bands. And one of the bands that we, heard a lot, not in the beginning, but maybe towards the middle, was Tears for Fears. They officially broke up in 1992. Still great songs to this day. Mm-hmm. And also in 1984, very interesting. If you saw the movie, this was kind of a point in the movie too. Queen, who, in my opinion, I think Queen is one of the only groups who, when they were out, they were ahead of their time. They've been gone technically for 30 years, and they're still ahead of their time. But they did the song "I Want to Break Free," and when they shot the video, they shot it in drag. Which, if you did that today, nobody would bat an eye. Mm-hmm. But back then, this caused quite a stir. Brian May of the band says this is the video that killed Queen in the United States. Thoughts, Fisher?
Well, it's just that, you say it's changing of the times. I mean, back then it was not very well received. It's not people weren't quite as open-minded. Videos took another audience, or brought another audience into music in a different way, certainly. I mean, I remember seeing people like Boy George and some other band. I'm just like, I wasn't quite getting it. Is he a man or a woman? I don't really understand. I don't know that I really cared per se. But you're right. A lot of people just weren't quite ready for that at the time. I respect them for doing it. So you know what? We're going to do this. To hell with you. I respect it. But yeah, definitely, like you say, I'm sure it didn't help their career at the time, unfortunately. Right. So.
Skinner?
I agree with you. Especially after going back and watching Bohemian Rhapsody, which is one of the better movies about music life that's ever been created. Yes. I'd be remiss not to mention the movie, but 1984. I remember some things back then. We remember us growing up. Mm-hmm. That was not a good look back then.
I don't know. It was hard
today.
To
today, you just look at it. And, okay, another one of these situations, and move on. Back then, it wasn't a good look, and it probably did kill their career in the U.S.
Already the rumors about his sexuality and all those things. Right. Probably did help. Well, real quick, since you mentioned about being remiss, I'd be remiss if I didn't backtrack around sports. One huge story that I forgot to mention, because weeks ago we talked about the free agency possibilities of Houston Texans quarterback Deshaun Watson. Talked about teams that were willing to give up back the Brinks truck up for this guy. and trades as well. Now, huge amount of sexual misconduct charges, civil lawsuits. We want to make sure we say that clear, not criminal. Civil lawsuits being levied at him. I believe we're in the 20s now. If these are true, this guy is getting more action than OJ in a women's prison during Black History Month, because this is just crazy, man. I know a lot of teams are going, woo, dodge that bullet. True or not true, it still has to have due process. Not going to be good for Deshaun Watson for a while. Fish?
Yeah, it's gonna, like you say, it's gonna. You're right. I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere now, especially. I mean, Houston is already expressing, desire to keep him anyway. But you're right that some teams wouldn't care, I'm sure. But there'll be other teams that might have been interested to pursue that may back off because they don't want the publicity nightmare that may come with that, with fans turned off, and who knows what you might get there. So, yeah, he really. But you know what? If he did any of it, then he deserves to be impacted negatively.
Absolutely.
About it. So, two sides to every story. But, Yep. But let's see what happens. But yeah, Skinner, what do you think?
Yeah, same way. They all those teams dodged a bullet. At least that's what they're thinking today with all the publicity he's getting, and it's not the publicity he wants. I hope it's untrue for his sake, but I can't imagine 20 plus people giving the same story from different walks of life. I don't know how it can't be true if it's that case, but due process will occur, and if he committed the act. What is that old phrase that we used to be told? If you play, you're going to pay in some way, shape, or another. So with that being said, fellas, we're up against it. Another great show, I think, in the books. Real quick, if you're listening to us on WMVU, you can find us on YouTube and Facebook. Look out for excerpts of the beginning of this show probably on TikTok a little later on.
Yeah, like second recording. Yeah,
second or third recording.
First recording.
But another great show. I will watch those shows that we talked about this week. I want to make sure I get back up to snuff with you guys, because really want to see Falcon. I want to see that storyline.
Yeah.
And then that Hollywood video or Blockbuster video should be a good one too. So with that being said,
what's that?
You still going to the gym?
Yes.
All right, I think I am too. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to your son, Mike Skinner Jr. Phenomenal job with the show, producing it all the way out Seattle, Washington. Love you, nephew. Great job.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, fellas. For Mike Skinner, Brian Fisher, and the one and only Keith Porter, we bid you farewell, and we will see you next week.
All right. Have a good one, everybody. Love you, brothers.
Love you too.